What up? What up, good people? It's your boy Cool McCain, and I'm joined over here on the other side by my guy Gene. What's going on, Gene?
What's popping, cool? How you feeling? I'm feeling cool tonight.
Well, I'm feeling real wire to wire tonight. How about that?
I love it. You're gonna go wire to wire, talking some NBA talk, basketball, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got the
And man,
basketball Jones.
not
I
the
got the
basketball
basketball
Jones.
Jones.
Somebody somebody had a little happy juice today. It sounds like.
Nah, I'm just in a great mood, man. Been working. Listen, new year, new me. 13 days in, 13 days into my diet. My shit's falling off my body. I'm losing weight. I'm eating healthy. I'm doing pods every day. I feel great.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Feeling good.
Cool. So hey, man. Any I know we have a list of topics to go over. We always want to come with something to talk about. But you're Gene, man. So we already know it's something off the top of your head.
It's a lot.
That you got. Yeah. So give me something, man.
So look, tonight's NBA slate, I was just watching it. I missed a 14 parlay because I took the Spurs plus the points. That was a mistake. Golden State is tearing them apart. Beat them 137-103. It looks like the Warriors are back to being the Warriors. Everyone healthy. Steph's back. I want to make a projection after watching them on the show tonight on ESPN.
Okay.
I think the Warriors are going to lose no more than 2 games between now and the end of February.
Okay.
I think they're going to go on one of those Warriors runs, space all the way up to the number 1 or 2 seed in the Western Conference. They just look like they have that rhythm. Barring a huge injury, they look like the Warriors. Like it's just Steph, Clay, Draymond, Jordan Poole, Wiggins, everybody. They just look smooth.
No, I did see a comment from Steve Kerr from earlier today where he was saying that no one's playing over 30 minutes until they get themselves in basketball conditioning. So he's going to rely on the bench and the depth to help guys stay fresh because they don't have the conditioning. So you think maybe that might have played a part? Everybody back now, they're not playing as many minutes, so they can go out there and go harder.
Facts. My man Dante DiVincenzo, Villanova's own Dante DiVincenzo, has been looking great for them. It's like they replace one star guard with another. They replace. It's just their depth is out of control. What I watched tonight was just Warriors basketball, and it made me sad to bet against them. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey man, it happens. I mean, you betting, you're trying to play the numbers, you're trying to play the points. You're trying to look at the overall picture. Sometimes it works out for you. Sometimes not so much. But hey, that's the chance you take, right?
I had 3 of 4. I had the Pels money line, had the Hawks money line, had the Knicks money line. They all won. They all covered, all road teams. And I went with a home team. It was a road night. I should have stayed with the road teams. Should not went with the Spurs. Man, what's happening?
Are they up to 8th? Yeah, the Warriors are.
He's here trying to get on. Is man in the waiting room?
Don't see him.
All right, man, just click the link. We'll love talking basketball with you, my friend.
Yeah, hop on in, man. Just go in the group, grab the link, and hop on in with us. But yeah, man, they are up to 8th place now. So looks like they doing that annual thing that they normally do when they start off bad, kind of make a move up. So a lot of teams should be prepared for that. But speaking of those standings over on the western side, I noticed the number 1 beside the Denver Nuggets, 28-13. All fairness, the Memphis Grizzlies had the same record at 28-13. Just not as good of a conference record at this time, which will cause them to be in 2nd place. Pelicans still holding strong, even with the Zion injury at 26-17 and 3rd. And the Mavericks ran out the top 4, 24-19. I always like to bring it up because there's a lot of variation normally on that throughout from week to week. You kind of see some teams pop up, some teams fall down, some different things happen. So you have any thoughts on that top 4 out west, Gene?
So before the season started, we talked about this, and I told you I think the Pelicans are going to go to the Western Conference, or are going to go to the finals from the Western Conference. That team has so much depth. They've had no Brandon Ingram for months. Zion Williamson's out. They're still winning games. They're still 26-17. I've been high on the Pelicans. I love me some Memphis. Ja Morant is my guy. I love the standings right now. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. I think I've always liked the Nuggets until the last couple of years with the whole Embiid Jokic stuff. It made me start being a little bit of a hater. And I admit that. I fully admit that. I like Jamal Murray. I like Michael Porter Jr. I wish we would have took him. I've always liked Aaron Gordon. And no hate against Joker. No hate against him. It's just the hate comes because I'm such a Joel Embiid guy. I'm such a 76ers guy. And I feel like this guy got the MVP the last 2 years when my guy Embiid could have got it one of those two. So I liked the top of the standings. It's good to see new blood at the top of the standings. I just think that the Pelicans are here for the long haul. And I think when they get Zion back, when they get Brandon Ingram back, when they're fully whole, they're a team to look out for because their depth is out of control over there.
Yeah, I think you make a very good point with that. It's exciting to kind of see some different teams, hanging around the top. We've had some of those same teams that were there for a couple of years, so it's nice to see some of the other guys just to get a little freshness at the top, So kind of excited about that. Also wanted to point out the Kings are in 5th, Clippers 6th, Suns 7th, and the Warriors 8th around at the top 8 teams. So, again, the Suns are a team that had been at the kind of hanging around the top for a while. So it's interesting to see still in the mix, but just a little bit lower. The Warriors, I think, are like you said earlier. I have to agree with that on the come up. So we're going to see them explode nearer to that top, which is going to knock at least one of those top 4 out. But a very competitive Western Conference. Top team is 28-13. The 8th place team is 20-21. So even from 1 to 8, you're talking about, not a lot of games, 8 games back. So that's very competitive, something to be excited about, something to watch out for those people who watch basketball. And then over on the Eastern Conference side, top, you got
they're running away with it, bro. They're running away with it.
They are right now, especially with that injury to Kevin Durant, which actually is one of the topics that we had to talk about. We'll get to that in a minute. They're 27-14, number 2. Bucks are 3rd, 27-15. Cavs are 4th at 27-16. Any thoughts on those top teams?
You don't leave the Sixers out at 25-16. They just didn't play as many games as the Cavs. We can't leave my 76ers out. But
we go to 8, so we're going to talk about them, sir.
My thoughts on the Eastern Conference top 4 teams is that the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's good to see them being good. I think Brooklyn's going to fall out of that top 4 heavy. I think they'll be the 7 or 8 seed by the time Kevin Durant returns. They can't do it without KD. There's no mistaking that. They can't do it without him. So I think that the top 4 seeds in the Eastern Conference will be Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, and Philadelphia. Don't hold me to the order, but I think Brooklyn takes a huge tumble with the injury to Kevin Durant.
Yeah, and also Milwaukee still doesn't have Chris Middleton. Like, he played a couple of games, but he still hasn't really played a lot for them this year. So when you integrate Chris Middleton back into the offense and what he brings, I think we're going to see the Bucks, get a little bit better too, and maybe tighten that distance between Boston and the rest of the Eastern Conference.
Giannis needs a break, bro. His back must be hurting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He didn't play last night, but yeah, I don't care how strong your back is, man, at a certain point, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, it needs a break. But yeah, they still holding on in there, though. They still maintaining that top 3 for now. So once they get home, man, I think they're going to be a team to reckon with as well. And then your aforementioned Sixers are at 5th at 25-16. The Knicks are in 6th at 24-19. And the Pacers are in 7th at 23-20, tied with the Miami Heat, who are in 8th at 23-20. And then ironically, 8 games back separates 1 through 8 in the Eastern Conference as well. So we feel like Boston's running away with it, but I mean, when you look at it, they're only 3 games ahead of the Nets, 3.5 ahead of the Bucks, 4 ahead of the Cavs, and 5 ahead of your Sixers.
They just feel a
So
lot better, though, right? No,
they do. They do feel, yeah. They do,
feel
but
like
then when you actually look at the records, it's like,
yeah, they feel dominant. I think that Boston Celtics are one of the better coach teams. They have a ton of depth. Listen, at the end of the day, Boston's going to be there. They're a problem. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. You have tons of talent across that team. You got Grant and Robert Williams, Al Horford. There's just talent on top of talent.
Yep. All right, and we're gonna bring in Marcus. Marcus, what's going on, bro?
Fellas, how y'all been?
Marcus, you don't want to trade Embiid?
Huh?
You want to trade Embiid still?
No. No. I know since the last time I was on here, I got on Embiid greatly, and as it was deserved, though, since that little, held him accountable party I had for him. He's been doing like 35 and 12, consistently, and then, once the injuries hit a little bit, it could wear on you some. But I thought, Doc Rivers did his best coaching job when Embiid was, off the floor and Harden was off the floor, even Maxey. Then you can see, what you really have when these dudes come back. I don't know where the topic was before I jumped on, but I'm bringing it back to the Sixers, So, everything's fine. I still think Doc Rivers could be going, and it could be a better coach out there, to take that loss like we did to OKC. I believe it was the night before. Sometimes somebody got the high hand, you gotta leave them in there. Or if you see them go on like a 10-2 run, call a timeout or something. Like, you got these timeouts, you don't use them, and then they go on like a 28-7 run, and we get blown out. Like, come on, Doc, what you doing at this point? And Embiid, what I noticed is they let Embiid get off, but everybody else is kind of like standing around at the same time. I mean, yeah, you could beat, lower end teams like Detroit and stuff like that. But if you're going up against Boston, Milwaukee, and stuff like that, you ain't gonna be able to just get by with him going off and nobody else doing anything. So
you're saying they need to be less watching and more participating.
In the sense,
I feel like that a lot in Denver as well. So I can identify with how you feel about that.
So it's like for him, when it comes to the playoffs, that's where he really should be dominant when the game becomes more half court. But as far as you getting rebounds and pushing the ball, I think they're relying too much on him right now, which could kind of wear him out in the playoff run, in a sense. Because still, for whatever reason, he's been in the league for 5 years now, Gene? He doesn't know how to fall. So it's like, it's just a matter of, him trying to block a shot. Because it's like every time down court, he shoots it or he's falling. So I'm trying to get to, like, if they want to do something in these playoffs, they have to reduce his load a little bit in the regular season. Rely more on Maxey, Milton, and Shake a little bit. Harden gonna give you what Harden gives you at this point. I just don't see Harden being, more than a 15, 8 and 10 guy. But that just on that.
Okay. Cool.
Fair enough. Yes, sir. So we'll go ahead and start kind of where we were at, and that's with the Kevin Durant injury. So, now that Kevin Durant has been injured, I'll ask both of you guys. What do you think? How do you think that affects, of course, the next season? Durant's possible MVP chances. I'm asking the questions here. And also, where do you think it leaves the team for the remainder of the season?
I'll start. So I think that as long as Kevin Durant's out, the Nets are a below 500 team. That's just what they are. that Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons is refusing to shoot the basketball, and a bunch of guys that aren't that good at basketball. That's period. I'm just being clear with you. Kevin Durant makes all those guys better. Nick Claxton, come on, let's stop. Let's stop the funniness. Kevin Durant shouldn't be an all-star. He should be an all-star reserve, but he should not be an all-star. If he's going to be out for a month, you got to be very clear. There's 3 starters: Giannis, Tatum, and Embiid. That's your forwards. That's solidified now. Durant should be a reserve. He's going to be one of the top vote getters, but please don't vote him in as a starter if he's going to be out for a month. Can't win MVP. He gonna miss too many games this year. Cannot win MVP. So to answer all your questions, the Nets are going to sink. He cannot win MVP, and he should be an all-star reserve behind Embiid, Giannis, and Tatum.
All right, Marcus, what are your thoughts?
Cool. What's your thoughts?
So simply, Kevin Durant is the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant has been the Brooklyn Nets since he got there. They could change the logo to him and it wouldn't be inaccurate. Without him, they are at best probably a 10th seed. You know, I think being kind, anything above that. Can't be. He'll probably, just because the problem with the All-Star game, we talked about this before, it's a bunch of fans voting. He may still be one of the starters for that. He shouldn't be, and obviously he would have to be replaced. So Tatum's going to get in either way, you know, as a starter, because you can't play if you can't play. Team success, they can't be successful without him. The one positive is this allows everyone else to have an opportunity to step up. They can't cover what he can do, but they can be better so that when he returns, he's returning to a better team than the team he has right now. As far as the other guys playing, as far as them being confident, taking shots, them being aggressive, them doing all the other things to help out and not just standing, watching, and waiting for Kevin Durant to be the guy all the time. And I'm not saying that they're going to win games doing it, but they can be better because they have that that going on.
Man, what you talking about? I said he's going to be an all-star. He should not start. There's 3 forwards that are better than him. There is a criteria for starting in the all-star game. So saying I'm wrong, and obviously YOU apostrophe RE. No, I'm not wrong. He will be an all-star, and he shouldn't start. And by the way, I sent a link to your direct Facebook Messenger. So if you want to hop on and discuss this, we can do that.
Yep, and I do agree with this other comment here, and I've been a big proponent against this. I don't like the player captains choosing their teams.
I love it.
I don't. I think we got the East, we got the West. Let's have some camaraderie among the conferences. Play with your guys. Top 5 from the East, top 5 from the West. Let's see what you got. Play with your guys on the bench. Why do we need to have a draft for it? We don't. It's unnecessary.
I'll tell you why. So you see so many different combinations playing together you never see play together. So for instance, without the draft order, when are you ever going to see LeBron play with Embiid? When are you ever going to see Jokic play with someone like Jason Tatum? You can't see that ever. So one year it could be Jokic and Tatum. The next year it could be Tatum and Durant. It could even itself out. It's a fans game, right? It's a fans game. So being a pickup basketball game and having the voting, I tune in to TNT when they do the draft. I think that's hilarious to watch. I love how they go back and forth. I think it's brought a lot to the All-Star weekend, if I'm being honest. I also think it's funny how players get butthurt when they get picked. I think that's hilarious.
No, I do like the fact that players get butthurt when they get picked. I won't deny that. But I think for me, I like the fact of the guys playing together. And then to answer the question of matchups, let's be honest, half of these guys are going to be in the other conference in a couple of years anyway. So they're going to have a chance to play with the better players in the other conferences because they're going to move. They're going to go where the money's at. They're going to go where they have a chance to win. A lot of these guys are not loyal to a franchise. Now, is it something that may be cool to do every few years or something? Yeah, but I just don't like it as a yearly thing. There are clearly a lot of people who do like it, but I'm just not one of those people. I think one of the things that made it so cool in the past, when it was a good game and people really watched it and liked it, was the fact that you knew the boys from the East versus the boys from the West. I think we've lost that aspect. I think it's turned into, personal opinion, of course, but I think it's turned into another professional extension of AAU. Hey, I like you. You're my buddy. I'm a captain. I'm going to pick you. And that's just, again, no one has to agree with my opinion, but that's how I feel about that game.
We respectfully disagree, and Mike, I'll respond to you too. I think old school was the best when players didn't switch teams like they switch underwear. I would agree with you if it was players that played with teams for a long time and they weren't switching conferences and switching teams and developing super teams all year. I loved it that way. But since the way it's been where guys are just switching teams every other year, go to different teams for championships, yeah, I think that it's more fun to do a draft. I enjoy that. Who would have thought a superstar in this league like Durant would be playing for 3 teams already in his career? Or LeBron playing for 4 different, I mean, I know it's 3 different teams, but 4 different stints with different organizations. Russell Westbrook's played for 6 different teams in the NBA. Like, are we serious? Chris Paul's played for 5 teams in the NBA. Like, Michael Jordan played for 1, and then you count the Wizards, that'd be 2. Scotty played for 2. Well, 3 if you count the Rockets. But my point being is these guys didn't dance around. Larry Bird won their entire career. Magic Johnson won. Yes, the old school way was better when it was the old school way of where people stay with the same team throughout their whole career. The old school way isn't better now because people dance around the conferences. Kyrie's been on Cleveland, Boston, and the Nets. And he's like 29 years old. He's probably 31, actually. I'm probably being a little bit.
So I'm assuming I missed something in the mix of, trying to get my Wi-Fi established. But just from what I heard, just little snippets I heard, I have a real problem with people argument or trying to make a statement like players moving around is a bad thing. Because back then when Larry Bird and Magic was playing, their contracts, was for like 10 years or something, I believe. So your contract really dictated where you stayed at. And then the GMs or owners, if they wanted to trade you, they could. But for like Magic, Bird, Jordan, their teams was pretty much the super teams when they was playing in their so-called eras, however you want to spin it. There was no reason for Magic to leave. There was no reason for Bird to leave. There really was no reason for Jordan to leave outside the fact that he just got tired of, I'm guessing, Chicago at some point. But it's really what he always had a good team. So I get it. Like Durant played out his contracts. I'm not mad at him moving. LeBron played out his contracts. I'm not mad at him moving. If you want to say Russell Westbrook on 6 different teams in like a 3-year span, that's more so him being traded, I'm assuming, like that. So he's a hot commodity to the teams that picked him up. Who else? As far as I know, if you want to count Kawhi in the situation, he got traded to Toronto, and then he goes to the Clippers after 1 year, and he's still there.
To Toronto, he didn't get traded. Although he did get traded to Toronto, he didn't get traded by not by his own accord. He sat out. He didn't play. He goes, I'm not playing for your organization again. James Harden did the same thing. These players, as soon as they feel like that I don't like this coach or I don't like this situation, I'm not going to play out this contract I signed. It's bullshit.
But then again, you could blame that on the team that's trading him. I mean, if you got to look what the Nets did to Durant. They made the asking price for Durant so high, he hasn't stayed there to play out his contract. However you want to spend it. The teams don't have to trade you because you went out. I mean, you can sit, you won't get paid. However you want to do it. Like for the Sixers, it makes sense for them to just get rid of Ben Simmons because he wasn't really bringing you nothing. So whether he's playing or not, I mean, just get rid of him. It makes you feel better.
Way out of Philadelphia?
Huh?
Did Ben Simmons force his way out of Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Did James Harden force his way out of Houston and Brooklyn?
I don't know so much about Houston.
What?
I think the
know
time.
about Houston?
50 pounds overweight.
Sometimes sometimes you just run your course with a team. So as he's getting older,
He didn't have to sign that max extension.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is sometimes you just have to do what's in the betterment for you. Like people can't have it both ways. It's like, okay, you want them to stay, like you want them to stay, but then they don't win the ring. You say, well, he didn't win the ring. But then when he leaves to try to win the ring, like, oh, he had to leave to go win the ring. So which side of the coin are you really sitting on? Like, is it showing that they want to win by trying to get to a better situation, or is it showing them that they just want their money and just play wherever? Because if I know it was me, if I can get my money and win a championship, I'm trying to have it both ways.
Marcus, this is a saying that I tell all my sales associates where I work, and I'll tell you, and it's for any walk of life. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And Steph Curry proved that to you, right? Steph Curry stayed in Golden State and built that team up, and now into a dynasty. That's where the grass is greener, where you water it.
I'm always going to give Klay Thompson more credit than Steph.
You're out of your mind. That's an absolute
not necessarily.
Out of your mind. If you're going to give Klay Thompson more credit than Steph Curry, you're out of your mind.
Let's put it this way: when Steph was out, they didn't win nothing. When Dre was out, when Klay was out, they really didn't win nothing. So they kind of like hand in hand. So when Steph was playing by himself, when Klay was out with his leg,
bro, you're a LeBron fan, right?
When they was in the play-in game.
How did LeBron do? You're a LeBron fan, right? When Kyrie was out, how did LeBron do?
LeBron still went to 8 conference finals. Went to 8 finals.
How did he do? Did they win? When Kyrie was out, how did they do?
I'm just saying, what do it matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say Steph has no reason to go nowhere when his team's already built there. So there's no reason for him to go nowhere.
It wasn't built when he got there.
Why wasn't it?
Mark Jackson built that team. That was all drafted, homegrown team.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. So if you got the right pieces, why do you need to go somewhere? If Draymond compliments Steph and Klay, why do you go somewhere where they're not being complimented at?
Did KD not have the right piece in Golden State?
Even if you put it this way, when they started winning titles, all they did was swap out their small forwards. From Harrison Barnes to Durant to Wiggins, and they still won titles. That's all they did.
Marcus, was prime Russ, prime KD, and prime James Harden not good enough?
For who?
Was prime Russ, prime KD, and prime James Harden not good enough for Oklahoma City?
They wasn't in their primes. They wasn't in their primes at the time. They were still young. So
why wouldn't you throw together?
That's up to Sam Preston and whoever owners of OKC was at the time. They chose to keep Serge over Harden, so you got to talk to them about that.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But they did not choose to keep Kevin Durant or let Kevin Durant go. Kevin Durant walked. They thought he was staying. He walked on his own. Kevin Durant went to join the team that beat him instead of trying to build a team that he was on together to beat him. And also, I want to point out, and I don't have a dog in this fight, but I want to point out, Kevin Durant dogged LeBron James because LeBron James went to Miami to win a championship. He dogged him. He tossed all court stuff. He drug him through the mud and then went and did the same thing.
All I'm saying is,
the point that he did that, my respect level went from here with KD to way down here just because you were a verbal disproponent of what LeBron James did.
You was a verbal advocate of not switching
teams. Then you went and did it. Then you got on the team. You left that team because you were told by Draymond Green, we don't need you to win. And you got butthurt and you left there. And now you're in another team.
So let's think about all the outliers if you really want to get technical to actually really stay with their team. Magic, you know what I'm saying? Magic, Bird, Kobe, and Dirk, and Tim Duncan. There's only like 5 or 6 guys, for me in the modern era. Bill Russell. It's only 6 of them. Everybody else pretty much played for a different team throughout some point in their career, whether they in their 18th season or 19th, their jersey didn't change.
Stop. Not accurate. No, not accurate. Nothing you said was accurate.
Prove me wrong.
Patrick Ewing played for the same team his whole career. Michael Jordan played for the same team outside the damn Wizards at the end when he came back.
He
to
wore
the
different jersey, right?
Isaiah Thomas played for the same team.
Okay,
his
that's
entire
okay.
career.
Well, we can.
David Robinson
So
played for the same team his whole career. Kevin Johnson played for the same team his whole career. I'll give you 100 of them, Marcus. 100.
Okay, you can, but what I'm saying is, no, it's far in between. Like I give you 100. The way he played for Cleveland and Chicago.
What happened for 2 years? He went back to Miami.
It doesn't matter. He ain't wear a Miami jersey. If you played in the NBA and you wore a different jersey while you playing and you got paid to play, you wasn't in Miami your whole career. So
Marcus, I'm not doing this.
I mean, because I'm just saying, it's facts that's in your face. The way Wade wore Cleveland jersey. Well, all I'm saying is people wear a different jersey for whatever reason you want to call it. Not everybody stays with the same team their whole career.
Gotcha.
But there are people that do.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not, but y'all act like every player in the NBA just switches teams and stuff like that.
Y'all who?
John Stockton play for?
I haven't said that.
No, John Stockton played for Utah his whole career. I'm not mad. I'm not disagreeing with nothing you're saying, but what I'm saying is we can't be mad at players because they want to better the situation.
We can't be mad at players who go out and say that's not the way you win. That's cowardly. Yes. I can't believe you did that, and then you go and do it. I can't be mad at you. And if you tell me I can't be mad at you, you're being ludicrous.
Yep.
Okay. As far as Kevin Durant goes, I see your point. Okay. But let's just take it for the other side where these old school players thinking that you had to stay with one team to win. Barkley didn't stay in Philadelphia to win the title. Shaq didn't stay in Orlando to win a title. Sometimes you have to go elsewhere to try to win a title. It just is what it is.
Let me ask you a question. You think if Shaq played his whole career in Orlando, they wouldn't have won a title?
I think they would have.
Okay, so what does that mean?
That's what I'm saying.
He didn't really leave to win a title. He left for the lure of being in LA. He didn't leave to win a title.
Regardless of what his reason was, he still left Orlando. That's what I'm saying. So players act like you can't move for whatever reason it is.
So let me ask you: are you saying it's okay to move if you're moving because you feel like it gives you a better chance to win a title, or are you saying it's okay to move just because you want to move? Like what are you saying?
So let me put it.
So I can understand what you're saying.
It's like two parts. Like if you played out your contract and you want to move, go for it. Okay. And if you want to hold out because you feel as though you don't have a chance of winning time you're at, do what you have to do for yourself. I'm just saying, I'm not a fan. I don't care if you stay in one team or if you don't want to stay in one team. My only problem is if you come into Philadelphia, I love you. You know what I'm saying? But outside of everything else, I don't care how you try to win a title. The goal in the NBA is to win a title. You know what I'm saying? If I feel as though if I'm at one job for like 10 years and all I became was a lead and then to a supervisor, but I never made it to management or something like that. I mean, at this point in the ran its course, I had to go somewhere now where I could like, okay, maybe I can go from a supervisor to a manager over here. But you never know what people, when it comes to this basketball thing, it's like, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. You see what I'm saying? Regardless of who the player is. Like, I'm all for player movement.
Damian Lillard.
Look at him. God bless his heart, but he ain't going to win no championship in Portland. They're just not building the team properly to surround him to win a championship.
But think about the level of respect.
I mean, if you want respect, it's going to come from winning, regardless if you like, okay. Because, I mean, do they really respect Durant for going to Golden State?
Let me give you a comparison. Marcus, let me give you a comparison. Do you have more respect for Dame or Kyrie?
I'm not a Kyrie fan, so you can't really do it. But I will say that he did win his first championship with the Cavaliers before he switched jerseys. So I would have to go with
even more.
So I'm gonna have to go with more respect for Kyrie, but then here's what pisses me off about him is that you had a good situation in Cleveland, but then you want to try to be your own man.
More respect for Kyrie.
Got you.
Oh, I can't do this.
I mean, what kind of argument that you can make that Damian Lillard was, more respect because he stayed with one team? Like, I don't get it.
Next
he's been He's been the guy on his team. He's been the guy. He didn't have to run somewhere else to be the guy or because it feel like he had to be the guy. He stayed on his team and he was the guy. That's why I have more respect for a guy like that than a guy like Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, but Kyrie did stay on his team when he won his first championship.
But then when he couldn't be the guy, what did he do after he won his first championship?
No, he left to try to be his own man. But at the same time,
did that work? Did that work?
No, not yet. Well, no, it's not going to work. I'm not a fan
I'm
of
about
Kyrie.
to say not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to work, period. But the only person I could really equate to something like that really is after Giannis' contract was up, he stayed in Milwaukee and he won a title. He's still there. So that's like the only person I could probably respect more, in that type of situation. Because he played out his contract, he stayed there, they won in Milwaukee. But had he left, I wouldn't have had a problem. But he did what he had to do. But also, they had a nice team that fit his style of play. So it really wasn't
because he stayed and gave them time to build the right team around him.
Right.
That's why he had that team. Because if you don't stay, like Gene was alluding to earlier, the grass doesn't get watered, so you can't have a team that works for you around you if you're out in 2-3 years.
But no, he wasn't though. That's what I'm saying. So even with Dame, who's been in Portland for 10 years now, what has it gotten him? Or Jeremy Grant?
They haven't put the right team around him.
Exactly.
But
so sometimes
he's been loyal to the spot.
Comment, relax, bro. We just debating basketball. Listen, I respect you too. I love your basketball knowledge. I know you have 50 years of basketball knowledge. You getting so upset because of my opinion is wild. And you saying that I'm out of my league when it comes to talking basketball is even more hilarious. Please don't do that with me. I can rattle off. Listen, I know you have 50 years of basketball knowledge. And I know you know your shit, and I respect the hell out of you. But don't pretend like I'm out of my league. Don't do that. That's disrespectful. I love you, Con, man. Don't do that shit.
Okay, I just read Kyle. Reggie Miller did stay in Indiana his whole career, and it got him what?
I respect the hell out of Con, man. I can't believe I'm out of my league. Get out of here, bro. You're saying that shit.
All right, we're going to go to the next topic, guys. We're going to move on to the next topic. All right, so the NBA media had a survey for best players at each position.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you the list, and then guys, feel free to give me your thoughts. Anybody in the comments, feel free to give me your thoughts as well. So at point guard, I have Luka Doncic. Okay.
Fact.
At shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell. Okay. At small forward, Jason Tatum. At power forward, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then at center, they have your Kia Stairs, #1 leader in the MVP voting, or the MVP, Nikola Jokic.
And this is this year, right? Like not the best.
This is this year.
This year.
This is the best players this year. From the context I get from him.
There's no fiction.
They classify Luka as a point guard.
He is a point guard, sir.
Okay.
No fiction. I can't argue with that. Not one thing. What's the argument? What's the debate there? Who would you debate?
I'm not debating Giannis at power forward. I'm always going to debate center wise. I'm going to put Embiid in there regardless. So,
yeah, but it's not been better.
I mean, that's debatable, but it all depends on your style of play and who you like and who's your team. When it comes to Sixers, I'm not biased.
Oh, you're definitely biased. Don't ever say that.
Well,
I'm biased. Come to strike you
bad.
if you say you're not biased.
I'm definitely biased when it comes to my Sixers. So I will switch Joker out with Embiid. I'm keeping Giannis where he at. Jason Tatum, man. If they just talking about this year, I still don't feel as though he's the best player on the Celtics, so I don't see that happening. I didn't know Luka was classified as a point guard. I'd probably get that to John Morant over Luka just for wow factor. And who was the shooting guard?
Donovan Mitchell. fighter.
I ain't gonna argue that. I'm not gonna argue that.
So let me be clear, Marcus.
I am biased. I'm very biased when it comes to the system.
Let me be clear. Let me just make sure I understand. So you're giving it to Ja Morant over Luka because of wow factor.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ja Morant's game. So
I love his game too, but this is for this year. This is
no,
not like
I'm talking about this year.
10 years.
For
You
this
think Ja
year,
Morant's
man.
better than Luka this year?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's the same guy who thinks Embiid's played better than Jokic so far. Now, Embiid could come on and absolutely snap the rest of the season. We can't predict the future, right? But yeah, he's the same guy.
My guy, Marcus, my guy. Ja Morant has less points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals than Luka Doncic.
I ain't going by that. I'm not going by statistics because clearly Luka does more for his team than Ja Morant really needs to do for his team. That's why I said the wow factor to me as a point guard. I'm gonna take Ja Morant over Luka, and then I'm not really debating nobody else outside of.
Luka's not a debate. Luka's not a debate. I love you, Marcus.
I think it's a debate. I mean, that's who, like I said, it's who you love.
Yes.
I mean, it's a debate.
So here's the thing. So I want to make this clear to you, Marcus. I have said several times on several different things. To me, Luka's a hoe, but he's still better than Ja Morant right now.
I love you say that.
Yeah.
Oh, you my guy.
I'm just being real. Like, I'm not personally fond of Luka, but this ain't about me being personally fond of Luka. It's about who has played the best at their position. And I have to say it is Luka.
Facts. I can't wait to the next comment. I cannot wait to the next one. I'm so glad you put that third question in there. That rookie of the year question.
I just feel though if Luka was that great, they would have a better record if he was that great as far as being a point guard. That's just me personally. It has nothing to do with winning titles or anything like that. If you're that dude, you would have a better record than Memphis. That we're debating over who's a better point guard.
You do realize that the difference between the two teams is like
2 games, I believe, maybe. But that's
like
just swap
games
Luka
back. It's like 5 games.
If you swap Luka and Ja Morant, the Memphis Grizzlies are the 1 seed in the West, and the Dallas Mavericks aren't in the playoffs. I'm sorry, I hate saying it. I love Ja.
I mean, I don't know about the if. I mean, maybe we wouldn't know, but as of right now,
go play a season, simulate a season in 2K.
We wouldn't know. We probably wouldn't find out. So we
go
wouldn't
sim
know.
a season.
But what I'm saying is, that's me. I'm not disagreeing with.
I love Ja. I love Ja. I can't argue Ja no more. I can't argue against him. I love him.
But if I had it my way, it'd be Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, and B in the top 5. If I had it my way. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just gonna switch Luka with Ja, and I'm gonna switch Joker with Embiid. That's it. I'm not gonna disagree with the rest of it.
My man, Con. I love you, Con. Please don't hate me. I'd still love you.
All right, guys. So we're going to go to the next topic. All right. So the next topic is so far this season.
Rookie of the year.
Who is your rookie of the year?
My guy, listen to me. I hate doing this. I love it. I'm lying. October 19th, 2022. It's a Wednesday night. We did our NBA preview show on Wire to Wire Sports Podcast. I told you 3 rookies to look out for this year. The 3 best rookies in this class, talent-wise. I told you who they were. I said Paolo Banchero is the best rookie in this class. He is going to win the rookie of the year. He is by far the best rookie in this class. I said there's 2 guys that can compete with him long-term. One is Benedict Mathurin from Arizona. Let me flex on you a little bit with the basketball knowledge. And the other one is Jaden Ivey from Purdue. They were my 3 for rookie of the year. Right now, as it stands, Paolo Banchero is a minus 1,000 favorite. Second place is Benedict Mathurin. And third place is Jaden Ivey. Check, check, check. I also told you that Jabari Smith is a bust. And that kid is a bust. I'm not saying he won't amount to being a good NBA player. He's not a number 2 overall pick. I cannot believe people are arguing whether him or Paolo Banchero, who's the better player. It's not close. Jabari Smith, I watched his tournament game, and I watched him quit, and I watched him be broken down. I watched him in the SEC tournament. I watched him quit. I watched him be broken down. I told you this on October 19th. I will say it again. The top 3 is Paolo, Benedict Mathurin, Jaden Ivey. Boom, boom, boom.
I agree with everything that Gene has said, and there's not even no debate in that. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. I agree with Gene.
Yeah, it's definitely Paolo. I mean, and again, this is coming from a guy that's a UNC fan, college basketball. So I don't want to ever give a Duke person any props. But again, I can't sit here and do a Marcus because I ain't Marcus. The best person is Paolo Banchero. There's no need to try to use any humoristic bias to say anything but the truth.
Yo, what's up with your UNC Tar Heels this year? I know this is not a NCAA show, but they need to get it together. I got some money on them to win the national championship, and they're like 500. What's going on?
They think that they've already won before they win, and you know, I'm getting tired of the last couple of years of seeing this mess. You come out, you play good a couple of games, and then you go on this free fall, and then you try to come storming back at the end of the season. You don't have to do the free fall. If you go out there and play hard and finish and play just as hard that you do starting in January, when the season actually starts, then you're not in these situations. So I think these young guys, and this is across most of college basketball, but I think we got the Tar Heels got a big head because they almost won the championship last year, and they smelling themselves, right? They have almost everybody back from their team, and they're smelling themselves. Sometimes you have to be slapped around a little bit, punched a little bit, foot on your throat, beat up a little bit before you start to realize, I got to get my mind right. So I think they're definitely going through being slapped around, punched around and stuff. We're going to see if they get their mind right. It's the best way for me to put it.
I do want to give a little small shout out. I know he had no chance of winning the Rookie of the Year, but I want to give a small shout out to Andrew Nembhard, my Gonzaga guy. A lot of people didn't think he would make it in the league. I think he can. I think he can be a good rotational piece, and he's proven that this year. So I remember watching him last year with Drew Timme, the 1-2 game, the inside-out game with Gonzaga. My man Nembhard is making it happen. So,
and I think Jaden Ivey has the best story.
Facts. That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? As a guy who loves the WNBA, covers the dream, I love the fact that his game was developed by a lot of women that you see are in or were in the WNBA. You know, and you can kind of see, like, he's still a high flyer, but some of the fundamental things that he does, he has that female basketball influence. Because if you don't watch the women's game, it's very fundamental. Right? They cross the T's and dot the I's. They do the fundamental things. You know, and to see that mixture, I love it, man. Every time I can catch him playing, I just love to watch him play.
I feel that.
So Conman says they're not playing well.
Talking about UNC.
Yeah.
Portal has affected so many teams, and that's why there's no clear-cut dominant team. Just look at how many 5-year players that are playing right now. God, I feel you on that. I do.
Hey, I don't disagree with him, but the worst thing is we did bring in Nance's brother. But other than that, I mean, they were either young guys or guys that were on the team last year. So this is a lot of the same guys.
I think you're close, cool. I think that's just they were smelling themselves too much.
Yeah, get yourself together.
Your second part of that question was most improved and comeback player of the year, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm dying on that one too. The most improved player this year is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And I don't care if he's good already. He is great now. That guy is unstoppable. I just watched him torch my 76ers the other night. Last night. It hurt. It hurt watching it. SGA is for.
I like the way he. I actually like. They deserve to win this game. I just watching them ball out. Like even
It's
he
fun to
playing
watch, right?
against
Isn't
my
it fun to
Sixers.
watch?
It's fun to watch, man. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I feel you, Con. I know where you're coming from. I feel you, Con.
So yeah, I don't disagree. I don't know what he did in his time in OKC in the off season, but he just came out on fire. And any chance I get to
Marcus.
watch OKC game, I like to watch it. You know.
Hey Marcus, you know what he did this summer? He worked out with Jalen Hurts.
Did he?
We do got to give a
little. He did come back. He did come back. You know, it's time.
Well, I don't want to steal your thunder. Are you giving a different player than SGA, or can I give a shout out to another player? Well, the reason we're talking about that, we're talking about most improved, and SGA should win the award. But there's definitely been another player that's been so improved this year. How about Chicago's own moved over to Utah, Lauri Markkanen? Like that guy went from being a rotational piece.
Most any other year he would be the guy, but
yeah, most definitely.
I just wanted to give him a shout out because Lauri Markkanen,
he deserved that.
Keeping Utah on the map right now, and I got to give him credit. We play them tomorrow night, and we only 4-point favorites over Utah. And if you told me the Sixers would have everybody at the beginning of the season, and we'd be playing Utah in January, and we'd only be 4-point favorites, I'd be like, what is going on with the season right now? And it's Lauri Markkanen. That's what's going on.
I mean, you could even give it to Sabonis or De'Aaron Fox, because them boys in Sacramento, like they be out there balling too. It's like
I feel like they cancel each other out though. You know what I'm saying? Because they're both on the same team.
That could
so
be
I feel
true.
Like I feel like they kind of cancel each other out. But yeah, I completely agree.
That's a combo. I didn't see Sacramento doing that neither. Nor did I see Utah coming in the way they did with Larry Markkanen being the way he is in Utah. I think he had in him coming from.
Kind of agrees with you, Gene.
I will say this for a comeback player of the year, it should be Zion, but he can't stay on the goddamn court, man. Bro, like he's so good. Like, you watch him this year, he came in shape. You can see the difference noticeably. He's more cut. He's quicker around he's getting in the hole a lot more. He's showing his dominance at the rim. He looks unstoppable at times.
Like I've never seen somebody whose second jump might be more explosive than their first jump when it comes to Zion.
I've never seen somebody that's built like that can't stay on the court. He's built like a brick shithouse, and he can't stay on the goddamn court.
Because when they played the Sixers, boy, I was really watching him because the way he was handling the ball, just moving people around, I'm like, good Lord, boy. Sometimes it ain't about your height, but it's just your willingness and the way you use your body that just makes you unstoppable. And if he could just stay healthy, that dude will have a hell of a career. I don't know. He might got Charles Barkley beat because Charles was a little more slim than Zion, but Zion was about 3 inches taller, maybe. Ooh. Jokic and B, them boys have to run for their money.
When he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
The thing with me, the best ability is availability. And that's the one that Zion has got to get better at, man. He has got to be better at that. I mean, he has to be all the tools to be the next, like, I can't even say the next LeBron, but that style of player. But you have to stay on the field.
Yeah.
Do you have a comeback player of the year? I know the NBA got rid of the award, but do you have a comeback player of the year? I really wanted it to be Zion. I really did.
I do like Jalen, though. Like Jalen Brown, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I think he's been carrying, the Celtics, Kyle. That's just me. they want to give it to Tatum as bad as they like to give it to Tatum, but Jaylen Brown has been more consistent for the Celtics than Jason Tatum has. So I think I had to agree with that. Like
I was with you until you said that.
Jaylen Brown, he has been
He's been more
upping his
consistent.
averages and everything. So
I was with you.
I like
until you
that.
said that. I really was. I made a prediction last year. I said in 3 years, it'll be Jaylen Brown's team and Jason Tatum will be the clear sidekick. And that prediction is not living up well for me. And I very happily admit that I've been wrong so far. But I did say in 3 years, I think the ascension of Jaylen Brown, I think Jaylen Brown being the smartest player in the NBA, super athletic, improves his game year over year over year. It's like one of those things that like I see a higher ceiling for him than Tatum. So I've been wrong so far, but man, I think that Jaylen Brown could be a better player than Jason Tatum in a couple of years.
Yep. So he says,
that's a great one. He said Jamal Murray. That's a great one.
So
you talking about Jamal Murray? You're not talking about Keegan Murray, are you? Keegan's a rookie. Jamal Murray. I don't know why in my head.
He's still coming back, right? For me, I would say Tim Hardaway Jr.
Okay.
Because he's
I love his dad so much.
Yeah.
I love his dad so much.
The killer crossover.
Man, the creator.
But I just like, I like that Tim Hardaway Jr. knows his role. He plays it, and he continues to perfect his craft. And he came back playing as good as when he got hurt, if not better. So to me, that's the type of guy I look at when I think about comeback player of the year. For Jamal Murray, some great games, but I'm a Nuggets fan. It's been some stinkers. There's a lot of load management with the leg and everything, so we're not seeing him as much as we want to. A lot of restrictions, it looks like, on the amount of time he can play. If he plays over X amount of minutes, he's out the next game, those type of things. So I want to see him with the constraints off, which we still could get later on in the season. But as of now, I would go with Tim Hardaway Jr.
I got one for you. I don't even know why I didn't think about this. What about Spencer Dinwiddie? As soon as you said Spencer Dinwiddie played like 20 games last year. He was hurt the majority of the year.
Yeah, he was.
Spencer Dinwiddie is probably that. I like Spencer Dinwiddie there.
That's a good one, and they probably cancel each other out.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't even think of Dinwiddie, but yeah, they probably cancel each other out. But yeah, I just think that there's a lot of people, barring what we see the rest of the season, there's a lot of guys who could end up being in this. Obviously not in a reward, but something I want to talk about because a lot of guys go down with injuries every year, and you kind of, unfortunately, until you see them again, forget about them, right? Yep. Guys get hurt, and it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, and then they come back and say, "Oh yeah, I forgot about such and such," but that's kind of how it goes. So I just wanted to kind of slide that in there just because of that aspect to get people thinking about that thing. So another topic we had, Gene. 2 teams from each conference meeting in their respective conference finals. So if you could pick, and let me explain the question for everybody who's watching. I'm pretty sure you understand what I'm asking, but just to explain it for everybody watching. So if you could pick any 2 teams to play in their conference finals, 2 teams from the East, 2 teams from the West, based off what you've seen so far, who would you pick?
Oh my God, I already know. I want to preface. If these 4 teams are healthy, they will both be 6 to 7 game series. They will both be bloodbaths back and forth. Relax, Kyle. Relax, okay? I'm going to go Celtics, 76ers, a little homerism over the Bucks. I think the Sixers healthy are better than the Bucks. And then in the Western Conference, you said it already with the Pelicans, Golden State versus New Orleans. You want to talk about teams that have depth, they have star power. Man, you get Brandon Ingram back on the court with CJ McCollum and Zion Williamson, and they can match up real well with Golden State. They just have so much length and size to be able to Listen, Draymond can only stick one of them. You know Clay can't keep up with Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. And then Jordan Poole becomes irrelevant because you can't play Poole and Curry at the same time with that lineup with McCollum. You just can't do it. I would love to see the Pelicans Warriors and the Sixers Celtics. And that Philadelphia Boston rivalry is old as my grandfather. We hate Boston and Philadelphia. We hate Boston and Philadelphia. From Larry Bird to Julius Erving. Julius Erving choking out Larry Bird. You remember that?
I remember that. That's why I'm laughing. I do remember that.
I want to see Sixers versus Celtics. The rivalry is strong. The matchups are fun. And I think that it's just such a fun – because, like, the Celtics don't have anybody to slow down or stop Embiid, but the 76ers don't have enough wings to keep up with Boston. So it's like one team is just absolutely abusing the other in different aspects of the game. And I think the development of Tyrese Maxey this year and him getting better and better could be the difference maker to help Philadelphia over the top.
Okay.
What's your two? I want to hear your four.
Now, if we're talking Western Conference teams, we only need to talk one other team because the Nuggets are there, sir.
I get it.
Know that. Fully healthy, they there. I actually have them against one of your two teams, which is the Pelicans.
I love it.
Because I think Nuggets, Pelicans, you've got two big bangers at center on each team that can, they both shoot from distance. Jokic is probably a better passer than most bigs, but besides that, these are two guys that probably match up better than most people think. Athletically, neither one of them are, a barnstormer, but they can get the job done. A lot of complementary pieces in Denver. Obviously, with the Pelicans, you got McCollum, you got Brandon Ingram. Obviously, in our scenario, would be back. Zion healthy, as well as the other guys that got on the team that have been stepping up and are going to get chances to play because those guys are out. So I think that would be a great Western Conference battle. And I think to get there, those two teams would have to beat the Grizzlies and your other team,
the
Warriors. So I think to see what I want to see, I think the Final Four would be after the first round of games: Nuggets, Pelicans, Warriors, and Grizzlies.
Such an underrated.
Don't care who's one, don't care who's four, but I think it would be those four teams.
Such an underrated trade that happened last offseason, not this past one, but this was the Valanciunas for Steven Adams trade that a lot of people just didn't really talk about. And Valanciunas is like one of those centers that really actually gives Joker a matchup. I'm not saying problems. Nobody really gives Joker problems because if you're sticking him and making sure he doesn't score, he can pass the ball anywhere. Or if you're trying to make
gives him a solid matchup.
Correct. He's just the size, the strength, the athleticism. They're very good. They're really good matchup for each other. Valanciunas can stick him on the perimeter and in the paint. And I think that's a beautiful matchup. Be able to watch those two teams play.
And in the East, I think it's going to be the Bucks and the 76ers.
Wow. Who knocks off which one of those two teams knocks off Boston?
The Bucks. Because remember last year, the Bucks, I'm not going to say they would have won, but the Bucks were in that series until Chris Middleton got hurt.
Yeah, it's facts.
So you put him back on that team, I think they knock off the Celtics, and I think it's the Bucks and the 76ers. The Cavaliers, Celtics, Bucks, and 76ers are going to be the last four. The Nets,
it's fun watching.
By the time KD gets back, it's going to be a wrap for this year.
I don't think the Cavs have enough dogs in the fight, but it's fun watching them be good again. It really is. Like Donovan Mitchell, like he's went over to that Cleveland team and he's made them a true contender. I just think they're one big dog away, and they can make a trade around the trade deadline to get that. But I think they're one big player away from being a true contender for a championship. Cleveland.
Yeah, that's why I said they've been in the last 4, but not the last 2, because they're going to be better than the Knicks without KD or with KD just coming back. They're going to be better than the Knicks, the Pacers, and the Heat. So they're going to be better than those teams. But they're not going to quite be on a level with the Celtics, the Bucks, and the 76ers. So I think you get the Bucks and the 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Giannis, Chris Middleton, all those guys healthy versus the 76ers team that you've already eloquently discussed. I don't need to go back over that again. But I think those are the 2 teams that we would see. Now,
there's parity in both conferences. I agree with you.
Yeah, definitely parity in both conferences.
I think the PJ Tucker addition to the 76ers is so big because you add another wing to be able to protect against the Giannis's, protect against the Jason Tatum of the world. And I think that being able to put Tobias Harris up against Jaylen Brown and PJ Tucker up against Tatum or vice versa is helpful. But
it's more than helpful, sir. It's a luxury that a lot of teams wish they had, but they don't have it. I'll say this: PJ Tucker was a large piece of the Bucks winning the championship. I think he instilled in those guys a toughness that they still have. But he's a tough dude. I mean, he's a guy. He might come out and score 5-10 points. He might not give you any points, but he'll affect the games another way, and he will miss shots, but he will take them. Unlike another guy that you had there in Philadelphia.
You talking about Benjamin?
Yes.
Benjamin Simmons?
Yes. Because I tell you, PJ Tucker.
You know why I call him Benjamin, right?
What's that?
He ain't got no J. That's Benjamin Simmons. There's no J. He got no J.
He definitely does not have a J.
So Benjamin
does not have a J.
No J. By the way, can I just for fun? I want to read you his stat line for last night because this is Benjamin Simmons. No, I'm serious because he's ultra talented, right? But I'm gonna read you his stat line from last night. Granted, and he did a great job slowing down Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum was 2 for 10 for 3. Ben Simmons stats: 0 for 3, 0 points, 9 rebounds, 13 assists, 5 fouls. You can't win.
0 for 3 without Kevin Durant. 0 for 3.
Do you know who their second leading scorer was last night? Obviously, Kyrie was their leading scorer. You know who their second leading scorer was last night?
Is Seth Curry back yet?
Seth Curry played 25 minutes, scored 11 points. That's not it. Joe Harris played 29 minutes, scored 18 points. That's not it.
Is it what's my young boy name? We was just talking about him.
Nick Claxton, 9 points. Nope. Royce O'Neal, 11 points. Nope. Sumner, 0 points.
Do they have TJ Warren?
TJ Warren was their number 2 scorer last night. He had 20 points.
Brett said that. I'm not even going to take credit for that.
Scorer. He can't be your number 2 scorer. Damn.
Well, when you got your boy Benjamin, I guess it's a good possibility that it could be.
And Benjamin did a great job on Tatum last night. I'm sure that Kyle and Brett will tell you Tatum was 7 of 22, 2 of 10 from 3, 20 points with no Jaylen Brown. Great job. You can't score 0 points. And they challenge him. Yeah, shoot it, Ben. They're not even playing defense on him. That's the wild thing. You watched them play last night. They literally didn't play defense on him.
But seriously, though, if you're not going to shoot the ball, bro, why am I going to commit somebody to worrying about you when you taking yourself out? You know what I'm saying? You're being yourself up. I don't even need to put nobody on you.
Facts.
That's how I look at it whenever I think about Benjamin. I'm going to be rolling with Benjamin, and of course, I will be giving you the props for coming up with that, sir. So, the last topic that we have is your most disappointing player and most disappointing team this season.
It's tough. I thought about this like deeply. You know what I mean? Like, so like, do I say the Warriors? So I was prepared to say the Warriors are my most disappointing team, but then what they did tonight, it looked like the Warriors are old, right? Like it looked just like them. I got you. I hope someone's listening. I really do. My most disappointing team was the Los Angeles Lakers. 19-23. Anthony Davis is back in street clothes. What are they? 13 seed in the West. That's my most disappointing team. I'll go. And my most disappointing player, I was really looking forward to seeing Kawhi Leonard get back on the court. He sat out for almost 2 years at this point. He hurt himself in the playoffs of 2 years ago. Sat out an entire season. Why are you not ready to play basketball yet, sir? Why are you not playing basketball? That's a disappointment. You're talking about a star in the league. The Clippers gave up everything to get him. They gave up 4 firsts to get his buddy Paul George there. That's a disappointment. Disappointment. So Kawhi. Yeah, but he better start caring about the regular season because the Clippers ain't gonna make it. They're gonna be in the play-in game if he doesn't wake up.
He's talking about Kyle's comment here. Yeah, you're right about that. So when I think most disappointing team, I have to go with the worst team in the NBA, the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, but they're tanking. They're intentionally tanking.
Here's the thing. But here's the thing, Jim. Even if you're intentionally tanking, this is not the NFL. Even if you intentionally tank, that doesn't mean you get the player because it's a lottery. It's not tank and get the best player. But I'll tell you why they're my most disappointing team. Okay. It's not even the fact that they're tanking. It's not even the record. That obviously plays a part. But if you watch them play, that is hot trash juice.
It is.
The tickets for their games are on a constant downtrend as far as the cost. In an economic time where everything's going up, Hornets tickets are going down because they're putrid. They are horrible. They're terrible. They look discombobulated.
Brett gave a great answer too.
It's just terrible.
Brett gave a great answer.
He did. And I battled between those two teams, actually, for who was going to be my most disappointing team.
I mean, they added DeJounte Murray. You got Daniil Hunter, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, John Collins. Like, how is that team not better? That's wild.
Yeah. So when I think about my most disappointing player, I'm actually going with DeJounte Murray.
Really?
I am, because there were high expectations for him in that backcourt playing with Trae Young. And he was supposed to be the guy that could help out on defense, the guy that could alleviate some of the pressure from Trae, the guy that could be another facilitator. He comes from a great system, a great team in San Antonio. And I just don't see it.
Bro, he's averaging 26-5. 20.
Yeah, I just don't see it. But we're talking about the stats. I want you to go watch the games.
I love DeJounte Murray. You know I do think something's wrong with DeJounte Murray in it's not summer league. It's the pickup games they play in the offseason. He was getting in like fist fights with Paolo Banchero.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Shit. Like, so above that, man.
So Kyle says Trae Young has been more disappointing than Murray.
I agree with him.
If you look at the stats, I'd agree. But Trae Young really only does one thing. He doesn't play defense. He passes at times, but he's really a shooter. That's really what he is. So he needs the ball and he's a shooter. So we know that about Trae Young. So I can't, for me, call you disappointing when you are who I thought you were.
Okay.
So that's why I say the other guy in that backcourt, because he was supposed to also make Trey better. That was what we were told.
The offense runs
Pairing you with DeJounte Moore was going to make Trey better. And I haven't seen that. So that's why for me, at this point, it's DeJounte Murray.
I respect it. I don't have to agree with it, but I respect it. Yo, can we Kyle, Brett, why don't y'all just join us Friday nights? Because this has been such a mismatch of shit. Like, never mind. We'll talk cool. Like, this is me and you just talking on here, and there's so many good basketball heads in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that, but I just really want to get a consistent four to show up each week.
Definitely. Kyle, I know he need to be on here. Ain't nobody got to say that to Kyle.
I love Kyle. Love me some
Kyle. Know he need to be on here.
Brett, I'll tell you right now, Brett's one of the most knowledgeable basketball people you
Brett need to be on here too. Kyle, Brett, and which Kyle need to be on here? They know it. They know it. I'm gonna leave it at that. They know it. This stuff that they talking about, they should be on here verbally providing this information.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
They wrap it up.
And that's just what it is. Oh yeah, of course we're gonna wrap it up. And the wrap up starts off with, Gene, any other comments that you have regarding the NBA for the night? And would you like to tell the lovely people where they can find you?
Man, you know where to find me. I'm all over Sports Empire Network. Check me out every night of the week. I'm always down. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday morning. I'm here. I'm ready to go. Talking sports. I'm going to do this the rest of my life. This is all I do. I talk sports. I watch sports. I work out. That's all I do.
Any last thoughts, sir? That it. That's it.
That's it. Go Sixers, man. And I appreciate talking sports with you, man. Every time I get a chance to have a conversation with my man, cool. It's always fun.
I'll be on Sunday morning too.
Let's go.
Yeah, I will be on that with y'all Sunday morning. Yeah, I try to get around the Sports Empire, man. I got a couple other shows outside, but it's just more scheduling than anything else. But I got the Eagles Elite podcast Wednesday nights. That's year round. YouTube.com/@Eagles Elite Podcast. Check us out, man. I like what we're doing.
Sports talk, man.
Yep. Then we got play calls on Friday at 7:30 p.m. Playcallsportstalk.com/live. On Saturday nights during the football season, the NFC Beast. That's also on the Eagles Elite. We talk all the teams in the NFC East, the best division of football, the Beast, of course. And then on Tuesday nights, we have so many shows out. I almost lost my train of thought for a second. The NFL Matchup Madness, that's at 9 p.m. football season as well. And we go from the week before the season starts through the Super Bowl. So we in the middle of that, we're talking all the different matchups, who wins, what it looks like going for the next week, all that type of good stuff, man. And of course, here
on the show, I love me some Con. Man, come on the show next week. Now we're going to move to 9 next week, or we still waiting on that?
We're going to wait a couple of weeks. We're going to have a couple of changes. One of them is we're going to be moving to 9. That's going to be coming in the next few weeks. We'll definitely make sure we, put that out there ahead of time, so everybody can make that that adjustment. For those of you that are able to watch this, if you're not able to watch the whole show because of the move, jump on when you can. Always consider replays as well, but it'll be better for us if we make this move.
Yeah, a lot more. Listen, people aren't asleep on the East Coast.
Yeah, exactly. And just want to shout out Sports Empire, man. We're doing a lot this year. We have a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of interviews going on. So we're really hopping on the new breed. So what that is it's going to be a lot of your favorite personalities from the Sports Empire Network interviewing high school and college kids for different sports. And we're basically doing it to help them have a platform. They got to get out there, interviews people to see them get an opportunity to get on, do an interview, see how it feels, be a part of it. and also, bring that energy that they have to Sports Empire. So shout out to all of the kids who's going to do it. Shout out to all the parents who allow it to happen. And it's going to be big. Everything we do is big. So it's just another piece of the puzzle. So I just want to shout out that. And with that, man, got a little something for you guys to watch. And we out.